her brows, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Chocolate with an angled eyebrow brush, and this brush is numbered 266 from MAC, and I'm using a very light hand here and I'm filling in all sparse areas. As you can see, I'm using really small strokes because I feel like that creates the appearance of eyebrow hairs, which is what we're going for. I'm now going to clean up her brows using some concealer. This helps me to slightly adjust the shape of them and help them look a lot neater. This one's from LA Girl Cosmetics, I believe in the shade Light Ivory. I don't actually conceal the inner half of her eyebrow on top, I leave this bit out because I feel like it helps the brow to look a lot more natural, like it doesn't look as sharp and like really blocky. I've now applied a base to her eyelids and I've used the same concealer as before, and then I'm just going to blend this out with a Real Techniques buffing brush. I'm now applying a bit of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and this is setting the concealer that I've just applied to her lids. This helps to create texture on the eyelids and I find this really helps the eyeshadows to blend together. For the eyes, I'll be using the shade Burnt Orange and Raw Sienna from the ABH Modern Renaissance palette, and I just mix these two shades together and I'm applying this slightly above the crease, and I simply spend ages just blending this out. The look we're going for is more soft and it's really blown out, so we don't want the eyeshadow to be too heavy. Next up, I'll be using the Hoola Bronzer by Benefit, and this is a really nice cool toned brown, and I'm applying this more directly into the crease. So what I've actually changed is the pressure that I'm applying onto the brush, and this is just going to add more definition to the crease. I've now gone back into the first two shades and I'm just applying that again just because I want it to blend together with the more cooler tone, the Hoola. I'm now going to go into my Carly Bible palette and I'm using this gold shimmer. The eyeshadows aren't actually named, but as you can see it's on the second row, and I'm applying this to her lid. I then go back in with a blending brush and a bit of Hoola and blend this all together. I applied some mascara but I lost the clip as my camera stopped filming. But now onto the skin, I'm using the YSL Blur Primer, and this primer, I feel like I say this all the time, but I absolutely love it. It just helps her skin to look more dewy, it feels smoother, and the foundation just looks great once it's been applied. So after priming her skin, I went in with a peachy kind of orangey corrector and I applied this under her eyes and around her nose, kind of where she just had a bit of darkness or redness. So for foundation, we're using the NARS Sheer Glow, and this is medium to full coverage. As you can see, when I'm applying foundation, I literally spend ages blending it into the skin, and I love using the beauty blender. I really feel like it really makes your skin, or your foundation, look so flawless. I mean, I've tried lots of brushes and there are great ones out there, but I personally think the beauty blender is the best face tool. For concealer, I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is my favourite concealer. For myself, for clients, I just love how creamy it is. It blends out so well, and yeah, it's just a really amazing concealer, and I'm looking to try a better one, but until then I think this will remain my favourite. And I'm applying this under her eyes in an upside down triangle shape, and I'm dragging the concealer right down the sides of her nose, so this is going to help her nose to appear a lot slimmer. And I'm just blending this out with a damp beauty blender. Check out my previous tutorial if you'd like to see a full highlight and contour video. I then applied some concealer on her chin, on her forehead and down the bridge of her nose. I also applied some concealer around her lips, which is going to help her lips to appear a bit fuller. So my camera switched off when I was doing her cream contour, so apologies for that, but I've got a full tutorial on how I highlight and contour. So I did the exact same for her, but I used less product and it was a much lighter contour. So here I'm just making sure that everything's blended together, but you can't really see the lines where I contoured, you just want to see like natural shadows. So I applied a bit of concealer to my beauty blender, and I'm just applying this right underneath her cheekbone. This is going to make them look more enhanced, but you want to make sure you blend it out kind of with the contour, just so that you don't see a sharp line underneath where you contoured. This is going to make her face look really defined and structured, which it already is, to be fair. And of course I just continue to blend everything out because I want everything to look really smooth. I was really focusing on her skin in this video, hence why I spend forever blending. Like, using a matte bronzer, and this is the same one from Benefit, I'm contouring her nose, and I like the contour on the nose to be very soft and natural. I like to use a beauty blender to blend out the nose contour. Usually I don't use a beauty blender with powder products, but it somewhat just works, and I feel like I have a lot more control when I'm blending. So before I apply a translucent powder under her eyes, I just get her to look up and really blend out the creases, unless once I apply the powder it's just going to set, and once it's set it's really hard to remove the creases. And right now I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm setting the under eye area and all other areas of the face that I applied concealer. I don't actually apply too much to the rest of the face because I wanted to keep the skin nice and dewy, and I feel that if too much setting powder is applied, your face can look a bit powdery. Now I'm going to finish off the eyes, and I've gone back into the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I've used the two shades that I used before, Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange, and I'm just going to apply that some more to the crease and just blend it out, making sure that the edges are really smooth. Now, taking a smaller and more precise blending brush, this one's from Anastasia Beverly Hills, I'm going to use the same colours that I used in the crease, so Burnt Orange and Raw Sienna, and I'm going to apply this just beneath her lash line. I'm going to focus, well, what I'm doing is I'm focusing most of the products to the outer half and just dragging that in, and I also connect the eyeshadow that I've applied at the bottom to the top. Then using this larger blending brush, I've gone back into the shade Hoola, and I'm applying this on top of where I've applied Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange, whereas I focus the two shades more directly and closer to the lash line. This one's kind of just a tiny bit lower, and I'm just going to continue to blend that out. So here I'm just dusting away all that setting powder because, well, we don't need it anymore. Her makeup's nice and set now. Now if you want to prevent blotchiness or muddiness, I suggest that you set the cream contour with a powder. Here I'm using Hoola by Benefits Contour, and I'm just applying this in the exact areas that I cream contoured, and this is my favourite brush to contour with. It's the NARS Ita Kabuki brush, I believe. I'm now using this blending brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going to blend out everywhere that I contoured because I don't want it to look too sharp, too dramatic, and yeah. I'm now bronzing up her skin a little bit, and this one's by MAC. I've forgotten what shade that I used, but I will list that below. For her highlighter, I actually used two. Firstly, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills That Glow Kit in the shade Bubbly. I recently liked using eyeshadow blending brushes to apply a highlighter, just because I feel like the application is a lot more precise. And I'm applying this to the highest part of her cheekbone, swiping it back and forth, and I also apply it above the eyebrow. Now I'm applying the second highlight from the Carli Bible palette, and this is just a kind of gold highlight, and I decided to use a fan brush simply because I feel like it picks up a lot of products and I kind of just like how it applies. Like, do you see how pretty that is? This brush is by Morphe. I've forgotten a number, but again guys, I'll list that below. I also applied some highlight to her chin and her forehead simply because, I don't know, like I feel like you can never have too much highlight, and I feel like when you're taking pictures and just when the light hits you, you're kind of glowing from every angle. But I do focus most of the highlight on her cheekbones, and I don't really apply too much on her chin or her forehead. And right now I'm just applying some mascara to her bottom eyelashes. The one that I'm using is a little sample from MAC, but honestly I feel like drugstore mascaras are so much better than high-end, so I don't think you need to kind of splash out in high-end mascaras. Now for her lips, there's already a little bit of Vaseline on them just so that they were moisturised beforehand. And firstly I'm using the lip liner Spice by MAC, and I slightly overlined her lips here, above and below. Then I applied Peach Stock by MAC, which is a lovely neutral peach toned lipstick. So now I'm applying a gloss, and this is Lust, also by MAC. I thought this was a little too pinks. I don't think it really picks up on camera, but I decided to top it with Literally by Kylie Cosmetics, which is a nude gloss, but it has more brown undertones, which is what I was looking for. Now for blush, I'm using this one by MAC. It's called Peaches. It's my favourite kind of peachy blush. I think it's beautiful on nearly every single skin tone, and I'm just lightly dusting it on her cheeks. And to ensure that her blush, highlight and contour is all nice and blended together, I'm just using this brush by Real Techniques, and I wanted a bit more highlight, and I decided to go back into the Carli Bible palette, and I just applied some just to the tip of her, the high points of her cheekbones, on her nose, and just anywhere else that I thought could do a little bit more of a glow. Next up, I'm highlighting the inner corners of her eyes. This is going to really brighten the eyes, separate them and just make them look really pretty. So now I'm just going back over her brows, filling in any areas that kind of were wiped off during the process of doing her makeup. And to finish off, I'm using MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to spray this all over her skin. This is going to fix her makeup in place and make it look more beautiful and more glowy. And this is the completed tutorial, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I know it's quite different, but I really hope you liked it. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something and learned how I kind of do makeup on clients. If you like this tutorial or this type of video, please give me a thumbs up and comment below. I'll be posting a tutorial on how I turned this look into a more dramatic nighttime glam look. And also I'll be filming another tutorial like this, but with a dark skin model. and I want to focus it on how to avoid flashbacks, so if you'd like to see that, please comment below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel then please do. See you in my next video. Bye guys.